With Marnie and Melissa. I'm Melissa Houston, health insurance specialist and financial planner in Victoria, BC, Canada. And I just took this photo this morning down by the gorge.
And good morning, everyone. I'm Marnie Dangerfield, also here in Victoria, BC. Yeah, I am. And excited to be with you this morning. And feel free to say hi in the comments below if you're catching us on Facebook Live right now, or if you're watching the replay. We do love to make that connection. So I'll give you a bit of an overview. We always like to start with our value statement, and then we'll be sharing what's inspiring us this week. And we hope if you're comfortable, you'll share below as well. And after that, I'm going to be sharing a wellness tip this week. Next week, fun fact, it's last Wednesday of the month, so Melissa will be sharing a tip, and to be financial. So join us next week for that for sure. But anyway, so wellness tip, and then Melissa will be sharing our contact information and our journal prompt for the week. And then we will go into sharing gratitude. We each share gratitude, and we hope you will share as well. And then we'll motivational quote for the week.
Woo! So to start, thank you, Marnie. Our value statement. Today we gather
in the spirit of possibility,
in support of community,
to encourage holistic well-being,
to empower our authentic selves,
to share appreciation,
to express compassion,
and to enjoy this gift of life. Yay. Good morning, Rose.
So much good morning. Lovely to have you join us this morning. All right. And Marnie's going to dive us in. Woo.
So this week, what I'm sharing is my inspiration, my background. Today is my hint. What's been inspiring me this week? I'm grateful. I've been able to go for many neighborhood walks this week. Our weather has been lovely, and spring is in the air. And all these flowers, our native honeysuckle, the trees, and the irises, and our neighborhood rockery. I mean, possibility, laugh daily, these positive messages. So, Melissa, you mentioned about walking in your neighborhood this morning and capturing those pictures. It's like connecting to our space and place. And I know this past year more than a year, has really caused us to do that more and more, and really taking in what is around us and what's happening. And of course, as it's so spring here, it's just, I don't know, I just can't get over it. There's just something new every time I'm out for a walk, with the bird song, and these positive rock messages that I don't know who makes them. There's different people in the neighborhood who make them and put them there. And so that's inspiring me this week. Walks in the neighborhood.
Have you made a rock, Marnie?
I've not yet made a rock.
I feel like this is a project.
I feel like it is
fun to do.
Yes, we've talked about this. This is gonna happen this year. 2021, we're painting rocks. Rose, right. Virtually.
I'm going to add this to my list of goals. My vision list for 2021. We're gonna create a positive rock.
Put it out there.
I love it.
Spread positive messages.
No, the question would be, would you be starting your own positive rock garden or spreading them out in the wild so more people could stumble upon them and enjoy them?
That's the question. And what's interesting is it's like that ripple effect. I have noticed other rocks showing up throughout the neighborhood, and different houses now have piles of rocks that are painted. And it's like, oh, it's spreading. It's neat to see.
That is neat. Awesome. Love it.
So how about
I'm
you?
Excited. Today I wanted to share I guess you could call it a podcast. It's oh wait, before I dive in, small update on my last week's inspiration of Ted Lasso. So just the other day, I found that Brene Brown had an episode with Jason Sudeikis. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, about Ted Lasso, and I had not realized this, and it was such a moment of joy when I found out and got to listen to it, because it's one of those episodes that I wouldn't have listened to because I didn't know it was in reference to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad to have discovered it now after seeing the show, because having now listened to it, I probably wouldn't have appreciated it without seeing the show first. So,
It was meant to be.
anyways, I was so happy. I was just like, oh my gosh, Brittany likes it too. But this week, I guess you could call it a podcast. It's on Patreon, so it's not a podcast that's out released in the way that most podcasts are. You do need to, I don't know if are you familiar with Patreon, Marnie? Yeah, okay. Some people may not be. Um, it's a site that helps mostly artists of various kinds. So people support them, and there's usually different tiers of support, whether it's a few dollars a month or whatever, and that helps them financially support their craft. So on Patreon, there is a thing called Steve and Carrie's Holistic Buffet. And I'll share the link later, but there, I'm actually going to read it so that I get it correct. It's still fairly new, but it's creating a meze for the mind, a banquet for the body, and soup for the soul. And they explain it as, where is their description here? Scrolling, sorry. I did have it here before. Well, it's all about finding ways to engage. Well, they're trying to create a community, but it's all about ways that you can improve upon yourself. And I'm not going to be able to do this justice because I was anticipating just reading it. But like their first episode was about introduction to personal values, and I actually found that really interesting as the topic, because it's not really discussed very often. And then some of their newer ones is about managing stress and how to integrate the values that you found in the first episode into your life. And so they have podcasts, and then depending on the tier that you are in, they have like live streams. And I just really like the structure. I feel like they're trying to provide a lot of value to people. It's not a passive thing where they're just talking at you. They are trying to get a lot of engagement going with the community they're creating. And I just appreciated their sensibility of what they're trying to do in helping people with their lives. So I'll share the link in case people want to check it out. I'm sure there's at least an intro video that's free for people to check it out.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I love the sound of this. Thank you. I look forward to
Yeah.
that share because, and like you said, that the importance of connecting with our own personal values and pausing and actually like, wait, what matters to me? What do I value? And how that affects your decisions from there once you've connected to that. So, okay. Woohoo.
Yeah. And that's me for today. And maybe Marty's got a wellness tip for us.
We'll see. But I do want to say we have good morning, Cindy. Cindy's here with us as well.
Hey,
Thanks,
morning.
mine doesn't upload as much as often as I'd like, but I see her here. So welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's so lovely to be here with you all this morning. So in interesting, you said what you said at the end there, Melissa, about the community is helping people get into that action. phase of like actually not as passive. So I'm saying action. And um, that's what I wanted to talk about this week as I was reflecting on. We've shared a lot um, of tips, both you and I, over the years. It's been over a year since we started the show. I know it's almost two. And so we've talked about a lot of things like meditation, like different wellness practices, like meditation, spending time in nature, the power of the pause, choosing to notice like beauty around you. Like, so a lot of it is the pausing and the noticing, but whether it's gratitude, beauty, joy, we've talked about movement, how different types of movement are so important to us, play, um, oh gosh, a self-kindness practice, self-compassion, a practice. Um, and I'll leave it at that for now. But so I was thinking about it and I was like, but I don't, and I know sometimes I've done like the week challenge, but I thought this week, I'm curious for you, if those watching now or on the replay, and Melissa, you don't have to answer in this moment, but if you take a moment to feel into what's one practice this week that I think would really be, what do I need most this week for my well-being? What practice? Whether it's like the meditation or pausing to look at the sky, grounding, creativity is another one, of course. Any the gratitude piece that we do every week, but choose one um, and commit each day, starting small as a habit, 1 to 2 minutes, whether it's in the morning or noon or the end of the day, whatever works, but just a daily like I'm like making that strong intention of this week. I feel like gratitude, a daily gratitude practice would help me. And choosing that 1 minute, 2 minutes max to just, I'm going to do it 1 to 2 minutes each day between now and next week. And see how it goes. And if you miss a day with kind of some compassion, you notice and just start again the next day. But just building that intention in and say, this is a practice I'm going to commit to and try. That's what I'm sharing this week is for all of us. I'm going to be doing it as well, but I know with habits, it can starting small is best, and if you can even attach it to something you regularly do. I think Melissa shared in the past too, like we all brush our teeth daily. There's certain things we just automatically do every day. You just think when I do that for 1 minute, you may not want to go outside while brushing your teeth. So, but you know what what you can be thinking of gratitude. Yeah. Here we go. Ooh, Cindy's committing to daily meditation. Go.
Ooh, that's a great one.
Wonderful, Cindy.
Yay.
Yes.
Love meditating.
Yeah,
And what you just said, Marnie, reminded me about not brushing your teeth outside. Seems like an odd segue. You just reminded me of sort of a throwback to the early days of Motivation Mornings when we had YouTube videos behind us instead of ourselves. Tim Ferriss had shared a video on YouTube of I believe it was a lake in Japan, and it's just 5 hours of this beautiful lake with bird song. And I was listening to it while I was working yesterday, and I'm like, this is just so lovely because I'm not outside, but I kind of feel like I am. So if you aren't getting enough outside time, I can share that. You can put that on your computer when you feel like you want to listen to some beautiful birds and feel like you're outside.
Definitely. If you have the link still, because I remember that. It was hard for me to focus. I was just like, oh. So please share. Yeah, because it's true. I mean, the studies have even shown that even doing that, it can't be believe you are outside. And it's like, it has that effect. So, and it sounds like, Cindy has a beautiful, truly magnificent sky this morning. Thank you for sharing.
Lovely.
And yes, she would like you to please post the video.
Will do. I can definitely do that. I know what mine is, Marnie, for
Oh, you
your
do? Okay.
suggestion. I'm definitely about the pause right now because I feel like a lot of my days have been just like go, 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 got lots of productive things I need to do. And I'm feeling like, no, I want to just pause and enjoy nature and notice things around me. And yeah, I'm all about that today. In fact, you'll notice that in my quote later.
Okay. I like how this always comes together. All right.
It's amazing. All right. But for now, let us share our contact information. Thank you so much for that, Marnie. That was wonderful, by the way. Oops, that's the screen I was looking. Okay, well, since I'm here, holistic buffet. Oh, you can't see it. My screen isn't set up for it, but here we go. Should you have any questions, comments, any motivational quotes you care to share with us, please email us at motivation.mornings@gmail.com. Facebook page, it's MM with MM. You're likely on it right now, but if you are not, that is the place to go to catch us live on Wednesday mornings. And we also post all the resources that we talk about underneath the live videos. So that's where you can find them. Our Instagram is motivation_mornings_with_MM. I've got our Wednesday morning reminders and then also posting copies of our motivational quotes. And then finally, our YouTube channel. That is for all the folks who aren't able to join us live and who just love YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us on there and get updates when we post the recordings. And now, for all the journalers watching, Marnie's got her pen. Here we go. Today's prompt is, what am I most looking forward to right now? There's so much, at least for me. What am I most looking forward to right now?
Yeah, I agree. There is so much.
There's so much. And I'm adding painting rocks to that now too.
Yes. Painting rock party.
And gratitude. I guess I'm going first. I am so excited to share this again. I'm very excited these days. This is a shout out to you, Marnie. I am grateful. I have been listening to the audio book of Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, and I am loving it so much. Yeah, and I so appreciate that you had recommended listening to the audiobook because I honestly cannot imagine it having the same impact by just having someone else reading her words, because I almost feel like I feel like when I get to the end of this book, I'm just gonna want to keep like reading, listening to it over and over again. So I'm so grateful for your recommendation and for her just for sharing all her wisdom with us. And I'll share the link for that again too. So we have so many shares today. Oh, so wonderful.
Oh, yes. I'm you're having to do all the shares. But thank you for that. And I listen to it. I mean, it's one of those, there's just so much goodness in that book. And her voice and the way it's just, yeah. And I know some people who they just have a daily, they'll just read a little bit of each day. But I find listening to and her voice, I find very calming too. But I'm so pleased to hear that. Yay. And
And
everybody's
I'm
different.
almost, yeah, I'm almost tempted to also buy a paper copy so that I can like make tabs and highlights and stuff, because it's so wonderful listening to it. But again, when you are listening to audio, it just flows by you. And then I start thinking about stuff. And I'm like, oh no, I just missed something.
Yeah.
So I'm tempted to do both. It's that good, everybody.
Well, I will share. I've done both. I do both because I find too. I'll be like, oh, I want to, and I'll actually like look. Okay, what chapter is that? And I'm like, okay, I have to go back and check the chapter and see. So, and I know with the second time I listened through, I was like, did she mention that the first time? Because it's like you say, sometimes your mind slips. You start thinking of other things. So, yeah, so as time ticks on, my gratitude this week is I've been very fortunate to get to spend some time in my neighbor's garden. And I know my neighbor has she's has a magical garden. She's been gardening it for years, and it's full of just wonderful artwork and plants, and just also just getting to spend time with her and helping her plant some things up, some new roses and such. It's been um, feel very grateful to have a neighbor, such wonderful neighbors, and not only them, but then their space, their garden as well. It's like so. I'm working with gratitude for them and their space today.
Lovely. Neighbors making the world a more beautiful place. And if anyone else has any gratitudes, feel free to share those on our Facebook page too there. And in the meantime, I will share our motivational quote. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Stillness is where creativity and solutions to problems are found, by Eckhart Tolle. And that just spoke to me today in my desire for the pause and stillness, because I don't feel like it's valued as much as busyness is in our culture. And I think it's a yin yang thing, productivity, yay, but also the stillness, the pause.
Exactly. No, I and it just this morning I was listening to a new podcast to me. So I've just started. It's called In Defense of Plants, and they were talking about pollinators and in nature and biodiversity um, and just that importance of just sitting still and watching. Like each of us as beings in our areas and getting to know our land and spaces and just because there's so much busyness, we're not maybe noticing as much with what's happening with our plants and with our bees and that. And anyway, just it was brought up this morning too with them of just how important just being still and watching is, and how do we switch help the culture veer back to that a bit, or people are getting what's happening around them. As your quote so wisely says, that's where we find solutions. That's where creativity comes from. Yes, there's times to be busy and it's good, but it's like, so I'm excited for your power of pause, and I will be as well. It's definitely a practice, really focusing on that, allowing things to just slow down and be. Thank you.
And not feel guilty about it. Like, I feel like some of us are just hardwired to feel guilty if we're not doing something productive.
Yes, and noticing that and going, okay, yeah, I hear you, but I'm choosing this. But yeah, it's like training that inner voice, like, it's okay, settle down. We're all settling right now. Yeah.
Indeed. Wow.
Oh, and thank you, Cindy says she's grateful for the birds singing in the morning. Yes.
Love that so much. Oh, I'm totally going to watch the bird video today. Thank you so much for everyone who joined us live today and everyone watching the replay. It's been a great one. Thank you for your shares, Marnie. I really hope you have all a really wonderful Wednesday. Looking forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, thank you. Big love to you all. Great week. Good luck with that for the minute or two each day.